Hello everyone and welcome to your first Show Me How It's Done edition with the 2024 to 2025 annual catalog. So my name is Laura Narbonus and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Every week I love popping on with you and showing you how to do a little project. And this week I'm going to do that, but I also wanted to briefly chat with you about this new catalog and a great little offer that's available. So if you are anywhere in Canada and you do not have a demonstrator, please send me a message. I would love to get this catalog in your hands. You can also check out everything that's in the catalog on my website. That's lauranarbonus.stampinup.net. But I do know that us crafters like to have things in our fingertips. So if you need one, just reach out and I'll get you one. This catalog is full of inspiration and new projects. It will be current for the entire next year, so it will end at the end of April 2025, and I'm not going to go into it much because there's lots of good things, but if you're interested in learning anything about it or you have questions, please reach out. If you check out my Facebook page, Lauren Scraplot, I did do a huge catalog launch party on May 1st. There's lots of posts that talk about events that I have coming up, playing with some of the items in the catalog, talking about paper shares. If you're interested, those are still going on for a few more days. And then there's also information about a few key features about the catalog itself. The reason I wanted to highlight this for you today, though, is because for this month only, May 2024, we have a great starter kit promotion. And Stampin' Up! Likes to throw these extra starter kits in every once in a while, and this is one that I just have to mention. It has gone above and beyond the usual freebies. So your standard starter kit would cost you $135 here in Canada. There would be no shipping or GST cost on top of that, and you would pick out $165 of whatever you'd like from the catalog, or online exclusives. Those all count towards it too. So that's $30 free, which is great. But if you join my team this month, and again, you can do that at lauranarbonus.stampinup.net, or you can message me for more information, you get $112.75 extra value for free. So that's about $277 for only $135. So as part of that starter kit, and you don't even have to add these items to your cart, they will automatically show up in your little box of goodies. You are going to get all 5 of the new 2024 to 2026 in colors. So those are Shy Shamrock, Summer Splash, Pretty in Pink. This is a returning color, but it fits perfectly with this set. Petunia Pop, and Peach Pie. You're going to get all those ink pads, and if that's not enough, you're also going to get a mixed pack of those in color cardstocks. So I think those packs have about 4 sheets of each of the colors, just to give you a taste. You're going to get the set of Stampin' Write markers for all of those in colors, and you're going to get designer series paper. And if you watched my video last week, I showed you a card using that designer series paper right there, and our Heartfelt Hexagon punch. So I apologize, my camera's not wanting to focus. There we go. That's better. So these papers are adorable. You can see there's the flower and stripe side, and then there are also some dots and a fun little pattern as well. So this was a card that I made last week on our episode of Show Me How It's Done. And while I'm at it, I might as well show you the video that I also posted on May 1st, doing some catalog launch party cards. So as a thank you for my customers who have ordered in the last 6 months and my team members, I sent them a little kit of cards that they could assemble on May 1st along with me. And this was one of them. This is using the in color papers as well, all of those dots. We've got some more hexagons. And then I did a pop-up card using a new set of our dies and a stamp set that we are going to use today. So this card here, I wanted to use all 5 of the in colors on. Today we're going to go a little bit more traditional, and I'll show you how to make a card that I actually spotted in the catalog, and I wanted to teach you how to make it. So without further ado, let's get crafting. If you had any questions about what I've chatted about, or if you're interested, this deal is on till the end of the month. And even if you're not in Edmonton or Alberta, I have team members all over. We do a monthly team meeting online, and you're still more than welcome to connect with us and be part of the Stampin' Up! Family and take advantage of this great deal. So if your wish list's over $100, look at this seriously, because it is the best bang for your buck. All right, so what we're going to play with today is the new catalog set called Under the Moon. Now this guy here has both a moon and a sunset, and I have had so much fun playing with it already, as I mentioned, on this little card. So I thought, let's try a little technique. So sometimes for these videos, I decide to case a card, and casing means copy and share everything, but I do want to give full credit whenever I do that. And this card is going to be this guy right here. So credit is going to the Stampin' Up! Design team who made this little card in the catalog. Now I'll give you the full disclosure that even though I'm giving you measurements, they may not be exactly what Stampin' Up! Did, because I'm going off of a picture and I'm just kind of measuring things from there and assuming that I've got it right. So they might look slightly different, but the gist is there. And what I wanted to show you is how to actually get these two-tone gradients in your stamping, because this is not a two-step stamp. It is one sun and one water scene, but you see multiple colors. So I want to show you how to do that today. And if you would like to follow along, I will give you the measurements, or you can check out the description after the video and they'll be listed in there for you. Okay, let's get going. So to begin, we are going to need a card base. So I'm going to use Bushel Blue, and that is going to be 5 1/4 by 8. So it's a little smaller than a regular card. 5 1/4 by 8. We're putting a score mark down the middle at 4 inches, and that's where we're going to fold this card in half. I like that, 4 inches. Now on the inside of my card, I always like to have something to write on. So I'm going to put a piece of basic white. This is going to be 3 3/4 by 5 inches, and that's just going to get attached with whatever adhesive you're comfortable with. So I love my double-sided tape. If you're a glue person, if you're a steel person, anything works here. You're just going to want to put this flat on the inside of the card. Now I might come back later and add a little stamped image to this, because that's always fun. You could also add some paper, whatever works for you. But that for now is for you to write on in the future. Now we get to build the front of this card. So the die set that we're using is actually one that carried over from our previous spring catalog. So it's from Perennial Postage, the bundle. This stamp set unfortunately did not carry over, but I always store my dies in their cases. So this is the Perennial Postage die set, and it is carrying on to this catalog. So you're going to take the largest of those dies, and you're going to cut yourself a nice white postage stamp. Okay, so I don't have the measurements for that because it's simply using this die, and you're going to use the largest one from the set. Then we are going to cut a piece of white that will fit inside of that postage set. So here's where I'm not 100% sure if my measurements are the same as Stampin' Up's, because I seem to have a little bit more sky space and water, but that's okay. I like my version, I'm happy with it. So I'm going to cut my piece of basic white, and it's going to be 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. This is the piece that we're going to do all of our stamping on, and then we'll assemble our card from there. Okay, so might as well get this postage piece out of our way, and I think I need a little bone folder work here. My bone folder is going to give me a nice crisp line so my card isn't going to pop up like it was doing on you guys earlier. So this postage stamp here, we're going to add some dimensionals to the back of it. We want it to come off the page. Now I'm using my mini dimensionals because I don't know if you guys have ever noticed, but the difference between the mini dimensionals and the large ones, apart from the size, of course, is also the thickness. These mini dimensionals are a little thinner than a regular dimensional. I don't know if you can tell, but see, there's a little difference in thickness. So if you're ever doing a project and you maybe want dimensionals on both layers, but you don't want them to come out kind of equally, you can use different dimensionals to give you different heights. You could stack dimensionals if you want, but in this case, I'm going to use mini dimensionals on my base layer here. So it's a very subtle gap from the base. And then I'm really going to pop my ship out and pull that out of the card. So this guy, it should fit right in the middle, give you a little bit of a blue border, and that's great. We're going to set this base aside and focus on our stamping. Now with this stamp set, I have noticed the Under the Moon, it has already, do you see there's different depths in the color? You can kind of see shadowing. And so sometimes with these sorts of stamps, a solid like desk doesn't work the best. You want something that gives it a little bit of movement. So either a Stamp and Pierce mat, or I'm going to just use a stack of cardstock because I have that handy. So I'm going to put a stamping layer under my workspace, and then my stamp has a little bit of room to move. Okay, so here it doesn't matter whether you start with the water or the sunset, totally up to you. I'm going to start with the water in my case. So I've mounted my nice little water stamp, and I'm using two colors for this. So I'm going to use Balmy Blue and Blueberry Bushel. Now, when you're doing two-tone stamping, you always start with the lightest color first, and we're going to stamp the entire water base with that Balmy Blue. Then we get to play with some of my favorite tools, and these have been around forever. These are little Stampin' Daubers. So you kind of fit one on your fingertip, tap it into the ink, oops, don't throw it like I did, and then tap it along the edge of your image. So nice full strength around the edge, then you can add a little bit of depth once it's kind of run out, and that will give you not only two tones, but 1, 2, 3 in your set. And then when you're ready, you're going to stamp this onto your card. So somewhere, let's see if you're straight. Hopefully this is straight. There we go. And make sure to give a nice even pressure and hold it for a few seconds because you want those colors really to soak in. Sometimes I'll huff on the stamp a little, and that gives a little bit of moisture from my mouth. But in this case, I will just set it down and kind of rock it for a couple seconds. Then when you pull it back, you've got the different depths of color. You've got the shading that Stampin' Up! Has already included, so it looks like waves in the water. Another reason that I'm doing this card today is some of you follow me on my Instagram or Facebook, Lauren Scraplot, and I was just in Mexico with my husband. I was able to attend the Stampin' Up! Incentive trip, but we also ended up going a few days early and just doing an Airbnb in Cancun. It was beautiful. It was so relaxing, hence my little burnt nose. But today is so rainy and chilly in Edmonton, so I was like, well, I'm gonna do an ocean card because I miss it already. Okay, I've got my sun now. So my two choices for this guy are one of our new ink colors. I've got Peach Pie and the classic Calypso Coral. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to start with the lighter color all over the sun. And then we're going to add, with a sponge dauber, the extra depth of color. You need a little there. There we go. Okay, I've got my second sponge dauber, and that's going to be with the Calypso Coral. And I'm doing the entire bottom part here. I want that all kind of pinky, and then just the very like edge of this crack, because I don't want it to be totally stark, you know, pump or peach pie versus Calypso Coral into the different sections. I want them to blend a little bit. Doesn't have to be a ton, but add a little color. All right, now we're ready. Little moisture. Then try to get these to cross over each other just a tiny bit. I had a bit bigger of a gap than I usually like on this one, but you want the sun to kind of be coming out of the water. Now with these two-tone stamping techniques, you're going to want to have some sort of cleaning pad handy, because you don't want to do this now again and stick this dark color into your peach pie ink pad. You'd want to clean this off before you, oh, that was a little dull. That's okay. The color kind of sets a little bit more as it dries, but I see it missed this. So here's the benefit of these type of stamps. Just find where they match up and try again. I like the see-through stamps because it's easy to fix a mistake. There we go. See? Perfect. You wouldn't have even known. Okay, now to finish up this card, I loved what Stampin' Up! Did. They just took one solid Night of Navy and added a ship. If you're somebody who's like, I don't really want a ship, you could use the little dolphins. That would look adorable too. And so I'm going to use the dolphins, I think, on this card, just so you can see the difference. It's very subtle. They're a nice solid image. And we're just going to have the dolphins to the left of that sun. See, it completely changes your card. You could even change the card base to like a Calypso Coral, and this would be a lot softer of a card. This could be like a masculine birthday card. This could be a very soft, Mother's Day card or something like that, but it's so easy. It's just one little thing. And then I guess while I have my ink pad, we might as well, let's add something to the inside of our card. I like the ship. I think I shouldn't say ship, the little sailboat. I'm going to add him to this corner. It's subtle and cute, and that's great. That's all we're looking for. Okay, now I'm going to add this to my card front, and then we'll continue decorating. So as I mentioned, I'm going to flip that over and use the large regular Stampin' Up! Dimensionals. These are nice and big, a little bit thicker. They're going to make my card pop out just a little bit more. There we go. This goes right in the middle of your postage stamp. Try to get a nice even border of white. There we go. And then for the sentiment, I noticed in the catalog they had the word hello. I didn't really have a sentiment that said hello that I had and I knew it wasn't retired. So I just grabbed from my shelf this Heartfelt Hexagon, and I'm going to use For You. You can use anything you want. And all you're going to do is you're going to cut yourself a little strip of paper. Here we go. A little strip of white paper. I made mine just over 1/2 inch, like probably 5/8 is perfect because it will fit any sort of sentiment that you put in there. You could have the word hello, you could have for you, you could have congratulations, but I wanted something short because I didn't want it to take over the whole card. If I wanted a long thing like congratulations, I could have stamped that down here underneath the water ahead of time. Okay, but I'm cutting a nice strip of paper. I've made it nice and long, and I'm going to take my Pecan Pie ink. Again, I'm not really 100% sure which ink they used. It looked brownish, so it might have been basic beige, but I'm going to stamp that on my scrap right there. And the colors they'll fade a bit as they dry. I just finished recreating this about 1/2 hour ago, so it's still quite heavy. And then all I'm going to do is take my scissors and trim this to size. It's very forgiving when things are this skinny. If you really want, you can grab your trimmer and fix that too. Okay, so this little For You is going to get popped up on dimensionals. Surprise, surprise. It's a very bold card. I would say 3 layers of dimensionals is probably the limit if you want it to fit in an envelope. If you don't care, or you have an oversized envelope, then you can make it pop out as much as you want. And they just put theirs down to this right-hand side, kind of above the water towards the sun. And last but not least, a few gems. So there are in color gems that we could have used, or there's also just some nice plain kind of iridescent rhinestones that I'm going to add to my card. So I've got 2 small ones. I'm going to add that just right below the tail and towards the edge of my water, and then a nice large one because that kind of offsets your balance a bit. And this card was cased very, very closely to the Stampin' Up! One. If you want to sit here and play, you can definitely get, I would say, more variants. You could play with colors, you could play with a different stamp set, but for now, I wanted it to look as close to this one in the catalog as possible because that's what these are here for. They're here for you to replicate. They're not here for you to see and be like, oh, I'm not allowed to copy. They are. They're here 100% for you to copy. And that goes for, I think, all the demonstrators who are showing you things too. We want you to play. We want you to replicate. And what I always encourage my team to do is try to make the card and then change one thing about it. And then that makes it yours in some way, right? So for me, I took the card that Stampin' Up! Designed, exactly, and then I changed it and added the dolphins instead. And you can see how it's kind of shifted the card to have even just a more wild and natural theme instead of kind of the human, like watching the boat in a distance viewpoint. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Click that like on the video. And if you are able to, if you have some time, head to the video archives. I have over 150 videos now at this point for you to wade through. Some items might be retired at this point, but you can use what you have. Use the technique and just sub in what you own. And if you have any questions, please reach out. See you next week. Bye.